Did you know that quilting is one of the oldest, most beneficial crafts, connecting generations and telling stories with every stitch? I am currently working on my first quilt by myself. I've quilted a lot with my mom growing up, but since I've left the house, I haven't really quilted at all. And so I've started my own project, and making my own for the first time has taught me the importance of problem solving, patience, creativity, and tradition. If you're looking for a new hobby or a new skill, everyone can quilt. Quilting is a personalized art form that allows everyone to create their own unique piece with thousands of patterns to choose from. Today, I'll introduce you to the quilting basics, tell you my own experiences, and show you why quilting is a rewarding craft for beginners. First, I'll give some background on quilting and my own experience, then discuss key questions about how beginners can get started, and finally share research about quilting technologies, techniques, and benefits. The first known quilts date back to the ancient Egyptians. They were found in the pyramids in their tombs. For me, my mom wanted to teach me a life skill that her mom taught her. Now I'm making my own quilt. My mom always thought it was very important to teach us life skills. I'm one of 4 daughters that my mom has, and she taught all of us how to sew. None of my sisters really picked it up, but I found so much joy in sewing. I thought it was so cool to start with just fabric and end with a clothing item or a blanket. And it was really a way to show my creativity and have a creative outlet that I wasn't experiencing anywhere else. After I moved out of my parents' home, I didn't have a sewing machine. And so I stopped sewing. One year I decided that I wanted to get back into sewing. And so I asked my parents for a sewing machine for my birthday or Christmas. And I got one. And because of that, I've been sewing. And I actually have a piece of my quilt that I want to show. This is a quilt that I've been working on, my own quilt. And it's a flower quilt. And so this is a sunflower from that quilt. It's one of the blocks. Despite how time consuming quilting can be and frustrating, I find it deeply satisfying to problem solve and see the end result. My experience has led me to wonder, what's the best way for beginners to really start? My struggle to start had led me to wonder how beginners started and what helped them to succeed. Because even though I've had experience quilting, it was still really frustrating to start for the first time. I really struggled. I didn't really understand. I had to call my mom many times and ask for help. This is a question that most beginners ask themselves, and I believe is a question that requires some research. Answering these questions not only will reduce beginners' frustration, they'll help them feel more confident and encourage more people to try quilting. To explore this, I researched popular approaches and advice for beginner quilters. Some suggest starting with a simple pattern. I, myself, when I first started, there's not only there's simple patterns, but there's also different types of quilts. And so the first one that I started with was a t-shirt quilt. So I wanted to keep all of my memories from high school and all the t-shirts I had from high school, but I didn't want to wear them because I was out of high school. And so I decided to take all of my t-shirts and cut out a big square from them where it shows all of the words on them. And I sewed them into a quilt. And that was really simple because I had all the fabric. It required very minimal pieces, and I could just sew straight lines across all of the t-shirts and then have a big old quilt at the end of it. Others recommend taking a class or using quilting designs for beginners. So there's almost every major quilting store like Michael's or Joann's. I guess Joann's is closing, but Hobby Lobby, they have quilting classes where you could go and take a quilting class, and it really depends on your skill level. So if you know how to thread a machine and you've done a couple sewing projects, you're probably fine to just start with a pattern, like a very simple pattern. But if you've never even seen a sewing machine or you've never used a sewing machine, you probably might want to start with just a very basic quilting class. And that will give you all the skills with someone who can be right there to ask questions, so you won't get frustrated and you won't have that where you don't finish your project because you're too frustrated. Most beginners should start small and gradually build on skills through methods, vary based on individual learning styles. So that's what we talked about, whether you know what you're doing or you don't really know what you're doing. Beginners who follow a structured approach tend to have more success and enjoy the process, encouraging them to keep quilting and passing it on. As well, they're also able to finish their projects. A lot of people will get frustrated and not finish their projects, but this will help them be able to do that. Quilting has given me a creative outlet. I have learned many critical life skills, creativity, problem solving, patience, and the joy of creating something meaningful. Not only will you join a community, but you will also have beautiful quilts to gift loved ones and have something to pass down one day. Today, I shared my quilting journey, explained how beginners can start quilting, and discuss helpful tips backed by research. So whether you're threading your first needle or gifting a handmade quilt, every stitch is a step into a creative and rewarding tradition.